Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be going over the Axial SCX6 once again. This is going to be the third video in the series. I've done quite a few upgrades to the truck since the last video off camera, so I'm going to be going over all those upgrades today, and hopefully we can take it outside and take it for a spin. First thing you can see right away on what I did to the truck is went ahead and put on these fresh Proline Maxxis Trepador tires. Now, I was really in between on what tires I was going to choose for this. I basically narrowed it down to that I was going to be going with Proline. I know that J Concepts has some, and I know that a couple other companies have them, but I saw a lot of good reviews for the Prolines. Now, it was between the Hyrax, the Super Swampers, and then obviously these new Trepadors right here. Comparing them to the stock Falcon Wild Peak tread pattern, you can obviously see that we are going to be having a little bit more of an aggressive sidewall, and that is ultimately what led me to choose this tire. When I was in between obstacles, I really could tell a difference with not having a aggressive sidewall. It just really wasn't biting and trying to grab on anything, so that ultimately is what led me to the Trepador. And honestly, I was between that and the Super Swampers, but what led me to the Trepadors is that I personally believe that the Super Swamper tire is overused on a lot of vehicles, and I really wanted to do something different. And these are semi-new, so I thought I'd go ahead and get a pair and put those on. Now, as you can see, I did not reuse the stock foams, and I also did not even use the foams that came with the new tires. But what I did do is go ahead and get a set of the Injora Dual Stage Foams. Now, one of the things that I was a little bit nervous about was how dense this foam is going to be at these different stages. And let me tell you that there is a big difference in price between the Injora and the Proline dual stage foams. The price is ultimately what led me to going with the Injoras, because I was already spending a handful of change on getting the tires, so I didn't really want to spend any more money on getting the Proline dual stage foams. But ultimately, it's going to be the quality of the product that is going to be the driving factor. Now, the one thing I did notice with the Injora Dual Stage Foams is that they are pretty solid and dense. And one thing I do like about them, with it being a little bit of a harder foam, is that it does prevent the tire from wanting to buckle underneath itself. Now, that being said, since it is a little bit harder, I don't get as much compression as I once did before with the stock tire and stock foams, so I am going to be losing a little bit of my contact patch on the surfaces that I'll be crawling on, but I do think that is a decent trade-off for this wheel and tire combo. While we're in the back of the vehicle, one thing I did do is go ahead and remove that extra storage compartment right here and just replaced it with a nice clean plate, and also threw on a little Yeti cooler. That's basically just to clean up the look a little bit, and also to help with the center of gravity and eliminate all that extra unneeded weight so up high. Another thing I did do is go ahead and swap out the rear springs and put them in the front of the truck, and then I went ahead and put on the purple springs in the rear. These purple springs are going to have a little bit lower of a spring rate. I believe these are actually a 2.3, and I believe that the stock orange ones are actually a 2.8 or a 2.6. I can't remember which of those it is. But the one thing I was unsure about was that the stock ones come with a gray or silver paint marking, but you can't find the gray or silver ones on Axial's website or anywhere on the internet at all. So I actually have no idea what the stock front spring rate was on this truck. I'm gonna guess somewhere around 3, maybe 3.2, 3.4. I'm not entirely sure. But my reasoning for this is that I just wanted a little bit of a softer spring, so that way I can get a little bit more better articulation, and it's not gonna try and fight itself with having that higher spring rate. Moving on to the front of the vehicle, I went ahead and got rid of that huge stock front bumper and designed my own. This is able to incorporate a RC four-wheel drive KC highlight light bar, and I think it looks absolutely sweet. And I was able to get some better clearance for my front wheels and tires right here, and I can take a little bit sharper of angles when I'm going up rocks. Another small thing I did too, but it ended up being a huge help when I was out in the course, is going ahead and trimming about 2 to 3 millimeters worth of this body line around the wheel arches, and I also shaved off a little bit of my side skid plate right there. Opening up the hood, I haven't done too terribly much, but one thing I did do is go ahead and get the new Reefs Mini RC EZ-BEC right here. Basically, this is going to allow me to run my EcoPower 1/5 scale servo at its full potential. Now, the stock BEC settings, you can only run at 6 or 7.4 volts. And one thing I did notice is that when you are running an upgraded servo on this, it is going to want to cut the power, and you're not going to be getting the full potential out of your servo. I believe that this is by far one of the best upgrades that you can do. This servo right here is only $100. You know, it's not going to be as strong and as powerful as, say, an NSD RC or a Reefs one, but honestly, for $100 servo and then also having a $50 BEC and being able to get the full potential out of this, this is definitely the way to go. Beforehand, what you would notice is that when this was directly plugged in line to your receiver, when you would turn your tires really fast, you know, you could see your lights cutting in and out, dimming and fading. And then you could also hear your ESC fan bogging down. That's because it's trying to deliver more power to your servo rather than anything else in the system. Having this BEC in here allows for the full potential of this servo without risking having to sacrifice any of your other components that are in your vehicle. Overall, this truck has been super duper fun to play with, and I'm super excited to get more content out for you guys. If you guys did like this video, make sure you guys hit the like button down below and consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one.